Good morning, now my sweet friends, pals, and confidants. It is Tuesday. I am supposed to be volunteering at my daughter's school today, but this week is just so full. It's so full, and I had to mark off something, and I hate to do this, but I had to mark off her, working with her, and I hate it because the only time I really get to see my daughter is when I come and volunteer in her classroom. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Did I do a video yesterday? Pretty sure I did. I promised you that I would tell you about the Passover. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the Passover. But before we do, it is a beautiful day here in St. Augustine. It is March 31st, last day of March. Tomorrow's April Fool's Day. There's a lot of foolish things in this world. Tomorrow's the day we celebrate it. 69 degrees out right now. It is perfect. There's, well, trees aren't moving at all. I was going to say there was a mild breeze when I took the dog out a little earlier, but I don't see the leaves moving at all. So it's just perfect outside today. If I didn't have so much to do, I'd maybe go for a walk on the beach or sit out in the yard or something, but I have too much to do today. We're having company for dinner on Sunday, so I need to get my house spick and span. It's already clean, but you know, when you got company, you got to have it ultra clean, spick and span. And I got to make sure I have my menu ready for Sunday, which is going to be really simple. My husband ordered us a ham from, I always want to say Heavenly Ham. That was a store we had back in Daytona. Anyway, y'all know. The ham place where you get the honey baked ham. Yeah, I think that's the name of it. Anyway, we're getting a ham, so I don't have to cook it. I just have to warm it up. And it has some mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, marshmallow salad. What else? Oh, he wants green beans. I'm probably going to bake some bread. I might do that today. I don't know. I want it to be fresh, but if I bake it today, I'll have to freeze it, and then I have to unfreeze it. So maybe I'll wait till Friday, or I can't do it Saturday. I have way too much going on Saturday. So I'll bake it on Friday. Remind me, okay? Can somebody remind me to bake bread on Friday? Anyway, I'm wearing this little crocheted butterfly that I made. I made this for my stepdaughter for Easter. And I'm showing you because I don't think she watches my videos. She's very, very busy. She works full-time as an office manager, and she has a 6-year-old. So I don't think she watches my videos. If she does, Chelsea, this is what you're getting for Easter. I made it just for you. My other kids, my grandkids, if you'd been coming for Easter, I would have made you something too, but you're not coming, so you missed out. Sorry. You snooze, you lose. What else did I want to tell you? That's it. This is Easter week. Today is Tuesday. 2,000 years ago, Jesus was doing a lot of teaching and preaching and healing on this day. It was no longer a secret that he proclaimed to be the Messiah. A lot of people still didn't understand. They were looking for the warrior king, and that's not what he was. He was the gentle lamb, and we're going to talk about where that started. Okay, if you remember, Abraham came from where he was born. He left his father, took his wife, who also was his half-sister, and his nephew Lot, and they went because God told him to go. He said, go, and I'm going to take you to a place that I have prepared, that I have for you. And so he brought him to this beautiful area, and it was Israel. And he promised all of that to Abraham. God does not go back on his promises. Sorry, folks. This does not belong to the Palestinians, which, by the way, there's no such thing, truly. If anybody are Palestinians, it's the Jews. They've been in that area since the time of Abraham. Even when they were taken captive up into Babylon, there was still a remnant in all of Israel. Not everybody got taken captive. A lot of them dispersed and went to Africa or went on up to Rome way. But quite a few of them stayed right there in Israel. By the way, are you drinking something this morning? Gotta stay hydrated. I'm having my coffee and a shot of espresso, some artificial sugar, a pinch of salt. I'm looking at my Keurig. I need to clean that out and refill it. I clean that probably about once a week because I use it every day. Every single day I have a cup of coffee. I know that's surprising to some of you that knew me when I was younger because I didn't drink coffee. I didn't eat seafood. I eat all seafood now. And I love, 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 love crab legs. Love them. I love shrimp. I love scallops. Love, love, love lobster. Don't get that very often because it's not cheap. I'm not a huge fan of fish. I have tried some fish that I don't mind, but I'm not a big fan of fish. But I love my seafood. Matter of fact, maybe I'll have crab legs for lunch. That sounds like an amazing idea. CEO, if you're watching, I'm eating the last of the crab legs. I love you. Stop by Whole Foods and get some more crab legs. Okay, so back to Abraham. Abraham was promised a son. He took his wife's maidservant by his wife's, actually it was her idea. Sorry, I just took out what I wanted to teach on. Here it is, okay. So, he had a son, and his name was Ishmael. And Ishmael is the father of all the problems we're having today, unfortunately. I'm not saying all Muslims are bad. They're not. I have an ex-sister-in-law that's Muslim, and I adore her. I absolutely adore her. Sorry about that. I'm a mess. I took my shower last night, and then I put makeup on. I don't know why. Why did I put makeup on last night? Did we go somewhere? Anyway, but then Sarah, his wife, at about 100 years old, got pregnant. They thought that was hilarious. And she had Isaac. Isaac grew up, and there's some things that happened in between. We're not going to get into all that. There was a sacrifice of Isaac, a willingness on Abraham's part to give back to God, and God said, basically, I just needed you to be willing to sacrifice your only son. That place where he made that sacrifice, you may know, it's underneath the Dome of the Rock. Did you know that? It's on top It's in Jerusalem, on top of the mountain. It escapes me right now. But it's where the Jewish temple was. And right now there's a building over top of it. It's not a mosque. There is a mosque up there. But where the Dome of the Rock is, it's not a mosque. It's just kind of a museum-ish kind of thing. I haven't been there. Oh, heaven knows I want to go there so bad. I want this war to end, and I want to win $1 million so that I can go to Jerusalem. I want to go to Israel. I want to go to Jordan. I want to go to that whole area. I want to walk everywhere Jesus walked, and I want to go to all the places that are talked about in the Bible. Pray for me that somehow that will happen while I'm still alive. I know that when I'm in heaven, you know, anything that I ask the Father, He'll do for me. He'll show me. But I really would like to walk as a human on that ground. I know I'm going to be hugely emotional. I didn't, for a long time, I never thought I would. But when I went to Paris for my 50th birthday, and my girlfriends that went with me will attest to this, when we were coming from the airport to our hotel, which was on the Ile de Cité next to Notre Dame, when I saw the Eiffel Tower, I just burst into tears. I didn't know I would do that. That was such a surprise to me how emotional I got over that. And I know I'm going to be the same way when I see Jerusalem. Thinking about it. Just thinking about it. I want to walk down the Via Dolorosa. And yes, Sunday morning I will be playing the Via Dolorosa, Was It a Morning Like Us, all of Sandy Patty's songs. I play every Easter morning. Not all her songs. All her Easter-related songs I play on. And I play Don Francisco's song. What was the name of that song? Marsha, Jimmy used to sing it. What was the name of that song? Put it in the comments. The one with Peter and John ran to the tomb. Anyway, that's a beautiful song too. And then there's a song, Watch the Lamb by Ray Boltz. Oh, I love that song too. All those I listen to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is Good Friday, the day that he was crucified. Saturday was the day he was in the grave for that whole 24 hours. And then Sunday, the next day, the third day, they went to the tomb and it was empty. It was empty. The tomb was empty. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. I'm sorry I got sidetracked. I'm like Matt McCune and get off on these little rabbit trails. Okay, I was talking about where Isaac was, where Abraham almost sacrificed Isaac. And that's what the Dome of the Rock is. Anyway, I digress. So Isaac had two sons, Jacob and Esau. Esau is also a Muslim nation. And then was Jacob. Jacob, who later was named Israel. And Jacob had 12 sons. He had 2 wives and 2 concubines. And 12 sons. And I think 1 daughter. 1 daughter? Is that all he had? 1 daughter? Poor guy, poor girl. 12 brothers. Ugh. Can't even imagine. Anyway, so the second to the youngest was by Jacob's favorite wife, and his name was Joseph. So Joseph, being the favorite, obviously was despised by his brothers. And one day his brothers schemed to kill him, but I think it was Reuben that stopped them from killing him. And talked them into selling him to some slave traders that were passing by. So he was sold. He was taken to to Egypt, where he was sold to Potiphar. And he ended up, he's so smart, so smart. He ended up being Potiphar's head man. He was also very, very, very handsome. And Potiphar's wife said, I want some of that. But Joseph, being the good guy that he was a little arrogant, but he was a good guy. He rebuffed her. She was his boss's wife. And he was like, nope, not going to have anything to do with that. So she screamed rape. It wasn't. It was all her. He was arrested. He was thrown in jail. While he was in jail, there were two men there, the baker and wine tester for the king, what's it called? Pharaoh, for the Pharaoh. And they had dreams, and Joseph interpreted their dreams, and their dreams came true, or his interpretations came true. One was killed and one was put back into service. And Joseph said, remember me, don't forget about me. Talk to the Pharaoh about me. Well, he forgot. He was so excited about being out, he totally forgot. And then one day the Pharaoh had a dream, and that's when this guy remembered, oh yeah, there was a guy I was in jail with. And he interpreted a couple of dreams, and they came true. So he told Pharaoh about this, and so Pharaoh brought him, and Joseph told him his dream meant that they were going to have 7 years of plenty, and then 7 years of drought and famine that was going to be so bad it would eat up the 7 years of plenty. So Pharaoh, being the really smart guy he was, said, well, Joseph told him, you need to put someone in charge. And Pharaoh said, I don't know anybody smarter than you. So he put Joseph in charge. Joseph became second to only, the only person above him in the nation was the Pharaoh. So during the time of famine, Joseph stocked up, made sure that everybody ate normal, but any excess, which there was a lot because they were having 7 years of excess. And so he stocked up to make sure that they had enough to get them through the next 7 years where nothing was going to grow. And that's what he did. Well, when that next 7 years, the 7 years of famine, and it wasn't just famine for Israel, it was famine for the whole area. And Joseph's family over in Israel, they were starving to death, but they had heard that there was food in Egypt. And so the dad, who did not know that Joseph was alive, because the sons, after they sold him into slavery, told the dad that he was dead. They had taken his robe that the dad had given him, tore it up and put blood on it and made it look like he had been killed. So the dad believed that his son was killed. Now, Joseph had another brother by the same mom. His name was Benjamin. He was the youngest, and he now was dad's favorite. And dad was very, very protective of Benjamin. So he sent the other 10, the dad sent the other 10 to Egypt to find food. Okay, I'm getting into too many details. This isn't what I want to talk about. Anyways, this explains Joseph ended up bringing his whole family to Egypt, and they grew and grew and grew, and eventually, generations down the road, the Pharaoh, who didn't know Joseph, got scared, thinking these people are too many, they're going to take over. So he put them into slavery, and they became slaves. By the way, I had French toast for breakfast this morning. And I always make it with cinnamon. But this morning when I was reaching for my cinnamon, I saw a little jar of apple spice, and I thought, can't hurt. So I put a little dash. Wish I had put more, because that was the best idea I've had in ages, It was delish. So from now on, it's cinnamon and apple spice in my cinnamon toast, in my French toast. It was delicious. I made 2 pieces thinking I'll eat a piece and a half. I ate all of it. I know. It all fit in this little tiny tummy. Anyways, okay, so the people are all in Egypt. They are slaves. They are being treated horrible. Moses, I'm not going to go into Moses' story, but he was raised in the palace as a grandson of the Pharaoh, but he knew he was an Israelite. Unlike the movie, The 10 Commandments, where it's a surprise to him, he knew he was an Israelite. The princess let him be nursed by his real mother. So he stayed with her till he was like 3 or 4. So he knew who he was. And he knew his sister. Anyways, long story short, Moses, being protective of the Israelites, saw some Israelites being beaten, and he ended up killing the Egyptian that was beating the Israelites. So he fled Egypt and went to, can't remember the name of the area that he went to. Anyway, cousins of his family, probably Esau's descendants, was where he met the woman that became his wife and bore him children. But when he was there, he was working as a shepherd, and God spoke to him on the mountain through a burning bush, said, "Go back. You are the one that's going to lead your people out of Egypt." And Moses is like, no. I stutter. I can't talk. So Moses said, God told Moses he would take care of that. So Moses went back. He was obedient. And he, according to the Torah, which is the first few books of the Bible, the Pharaoh refused Moses' request. So God unleashed 10 plagues on the Egyptians, and each one got worse and worse and worse. And each one the Pharaoh would say, I'll let them go, and then changes his mind and says, nope. So finally, the very last one was the death of all the firstborn. So I'm going to read this. During the 10th plague, God commanded the Israelites to offer a lamb or goat, which the Egyptians worshipped as one of their gods, as a sacrifice. He instructed them to smear its blood on their doorposts, making the household as a home of an Israelite. They called it a Pesach, which translates to Passover, because the angel of death passed over these homes and spared the family's firstborn. The homes that were not covered with the blood of the lamb, the firstborn in each of those households was killed. Man, woman, child, beast, animals, firstborn animals also died. Okay, now it's been over 3,000 years since all of this happened, but the Passover is celebrated to remind them of what God did to save them, to bring them out of Egypt. Okay. So the Jews have a specific celebration during Passover where they only eat kosher, which means there's a whole big meaning to kosher. It's not just unleavened. It has to do with meats and no bread, pasta, cake, beer, ketchup, mustard, anything containing grain-based vinegar. They don't do. And they go through their home and do a spring cleaning and get out all the leaven. Okay. So now the Israelites, the Jews, remember the Sabbath was what they call a Seder meal. And if you have never been to a Seder, go. If you get a chance, go. They're wonderful. It's a huge learning experience. And it's fun. It's just fun. Okay, I'm going to close that out. And tell you happy Passover. Friday's coming. Friday is the day that they hung my Lord on a cross, that I hung my Lord on a cross. My sins did this. This was not the Jews. The Jews actually didn't do it. I was talking to my son last year, I think it was, my youngest, and we were talking about the Romans, and he didn't realize that it was the Romans that actually put Jesus to death, not the Jews. The Jews called for it, but they weren't allowed to do that. And so it was the Romans that put Jesus to death. And it was Roman soldiers that stood there and poked him with the spear. And it was Roman soldiers that guarded the tomb. I believe it was Roman soldiers. It might have been temple guards. I can't remember, honestly. Y'all tell me, was it temple guards or Roman soldiers that were guarding the tomb? But somebody was guarding that tomb. Somebody was. And you know what? On Sunday, the tomb was empty. And the guards all got scared and they skedaddled out of there. They knew they were in trouble because they thought somebody had stolen the body. But nobody had, because after that, thousands of people saw Jesus alive. Thousands. Not just the 12. Not just the 12 plus the Marys and the Marthas, and thousands of people saw him alive. And then he ascended, and that's where he's at now. He's in heaven, preparing our home. And I'm excited about that, aren't you? I can hardly wait, but I do want to go to Israel first. Really, really, really want to go to Israel before he takes me home. But if he decides to take me home today, that's okay too. I'm ready. Jesus, come. Come. What a better day than today for Jesus to come. It's so beautiful out. I love y'all. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.